Good evening. You're welcome to another edition of Import Export Platform, Facebook Live from 3 Pursuit Academy. We'll continue our discussion and conversation on export business, and so starting and managing export business. And today we are looking at part 51 of starting and managing export business. We are looking at part 51 of starting and managing export business. And we're continuing our conversation on letter of credit. Remember, we started this some few days ago, and we talked about the letter of credit, an undertaking of the buyer's bank given to the seller, giving assurance of payment when shipment is made, and documents are presented that conform to the terms of the letter of credit. And I talk about the fact that letter of credit is a very, very important undertaking of the importer's bank, and it basically guarantees the exporter, give exporter assurance that payment will be made, giving exporter that assurance that payment will be made. And this is very crucial and very important. It's very crucial and important in the sense that a good understanding of how this works offers protection for an exporter, but it's a two-edged sword. It's a two-edged sword in the sense that in as much as it gives assurance of payment to an exporter, it's a two-edged sword. Sorry for the interruption. Because of inefficiencies. Inefficiency by the... How do I do this? I'm having a call trying to come in. Sorry, my eyes is itching me. Inefficiency on the part of the exporter. Or rather, incompetence on the part of the exporter. Incompetence on the part of the exporter that is preventing the exporter from being able to present a compliant document. Incompetence on the part of the exporter that is making the exporter to be unable to present a compliant document. And this is because the exporter has not been able to know exactly what he needs to do in order to ensure that anytime he presents his document, payment is made as at when due. So you find a situation in which the exporter is unable to get the payment as at when due, not because the exporter has not shipped the right quality and quantity, but because the exporter has been unable to meet up with what is expected in terms of quality, in terms of the nature of the document to be presented under this transaction. And that's very, very crucial and very important. Very crucial and very important. So we've started talking about a number of other issues on letter of credit, and in the morning we stopped at the types of letter of credit. I've talked about confirmed and unconfirmed letter of credit. I've talked about site and users letter of credit. I've talked about revocable and irrevocable letter of credit. This evening, I will start by talking about what is called the red and green clause letter of credit. Red and green clause letter of credit. What exactly does this mean? Red and green clause letter of credit. Red and green clause letter of credit are letter of credit that involve advance payment. Now, you need to understand the nature of letter of credit. Typically, letter of credit does not involve advance payment. Typically, letter of credit does not involve advance payment. On a regular day, in a regular trade transaction, a letter of credit payment only comes after shipment has been made and documents have been presented that conforms to the terms and condition of the credit. But in this case, we have a letter of credit issued and payment made even before the shipment happened. If payment is required to be made before the shipment is done, there are two possibilities. The first possibility is a red cloth letter of credit. The second possibility is a green cloth letter of credit. Red cloth letter of credit, green cloth letter of credit. Red cloth letter of credit is a letter of credit that involves advance payment before production starts. A red cloth letter of credit is a type of letter of credit that involves advance payment before production starts. That means payment being made is a commitment. That means the payment being made is a commitment. That means the payment being made is a commitment, a down payment expected from the buyer before production starts at all. So the question we should be asking ourselves is, why will a buyer make such a demand? So imagine a buyer, why will a seller make such a demand rather? Imagine a seller that produces machinery, and you are in need of this machinery, and then you visit this buyer and place an order, and you gave specification of the machine you want. This manufacturer have regular production he makes, and when he makes this production, he basically makes the production and keep it in his storehouse, in his warehouse where he sells. But it's also open to making any other specification that is not the regular specification. Here are you asking this seller to make machine of a different specification that is not very common. That means when people come to place order, this is not what they will regularly buy. But you want your own to be of this particular specification. The danger is if they produce that goods and you fail to pay, they might have lost money. They might have lost money. Since they will likely lose money if you are unable to pay for whatever reason, or the LC expired, whatever reason, they will not be able to sell it easily because nobody often asks for it. So what would they do? They want to ensure that you provide a commitment. A commitment that will require that you pay certain sum ahead. So that if for any reason you eventually not take the goods, it will be a total loss. They will have covered some of the cost. They will have covered some of the cost. They will have covered some of the cost. And that's the whole idea around this thing I'm talking about. That's the whole idea around it. That's the whole idea around it. So it's extremely important for you to realize that you can actually place a demand for payment ahead before you start. You even ship the goods as an exporter. But that will not depend on the uniqueness of your product, the kind of demand for your product, and the legitimacy of your request. But it's good you know that this exists. It's good you know such option exists, so that it becomes a lot easier for you to find it. It becomes a lot easier rather for you to be able to enjoy that benefit whenever you deem it necessary. But the idea here basically is this. You have an advantage of getting payment ahead in international trade. But there's another type. The one I spoke about now is red clause. Red clause means advance payment is made ahead of when production starts. So your money is used for the production. Your money is used for the production. Your money is used for the production. Because there's a commitment expected from you. But if you look at it on the other side, and you look at it from the perspective of green clause LC. In a green clause letter of credit, you know what happened? Payment is made. Typically, this payment I'm talking about is not necessarily full payment. Most of the time it's part payment. Payment is made Payment is made after good is ready for shipment at the warehouse. Payment is made after the good is ready for shipment at the warehouse. So can we then look at the similarity between red clause and green clause? Red clause and green clause LC both involve advance payment. Red clause and green clause LC both involve advance payment. What is the difference? The difference is the time when the advance payment is made. The difference is in the time when the advance payment is made. The advance payment is made under letter of credit. Red clause letter of credit. Advance payment is made ahead of production. But in green clause, advance payment is made after the good is ready for shipment. Now, what is this telling you about letter of credit? This is basically telling you something very important about letter of credit. And what is it telling you about letter of credit? It's basically telling you about letter of credit that letter of credit have enough flexibility to protect you as an exporter of goods or services. Has enough possibilities, enough options available to you. Like I said, you need to know such exist to be able to take advantage of it. You need to know such exist to be able to take advantage of it. And you know those that take advantage of this very well? The people that take advantage of it very well are those that have a good grasp of all that letter of credit entails. Those that have a good grasp of all that letter of credit entails. The question I'm asking you is, do you have a good grasp? If you don't, that's why you are here. And I'm happy you are joining us on this platform. I'm happy you are, listening to this conversation. And if you have your question as the conversation is going on, please feel free to drop your question and we'll gladly answer those questions. Now, the idea behind letter of credit advance payment is basically to ensure that there's a commitment. But look at this scenario. You know, for those that are in Nigeria, this scenario played out in Nigeria some times ago. A Nigerian exporter, a Nigerian importer wanted to import goods from, I think, Netherlands. And the company said, look, you must issue a letter of credit before we start production. Now, that's a different scenario. The scenario I'm painting, you must not just letter of credit, pay part payment before production. That's what I'm talking about. But in this case, they're asking a letter of credit must be issued before production even start. Meaning the good is not on ground, such letter of credit will require a longer time. A longer time because the good is not available on ground. We are going to only start producing it as a result of your request. As a result of your request. Now, that is not red or green clause. That's just a demand on the part of the buyer because of the nature, still on the nature of the item. When a buyer is placing this demand, always remember, what is the buyer trying to do? The buyer is just trying to protect himself, basically. He doesn't want to find himself in a situation in which he will incur cost and then you say you are not taking over the goods. Now, another type of level of credit is called revolving letter of credit. Revolving letter of credit. What is a revolving letter of credit? It's a letter of credit in which case, if you are a regular exporter of goods or regular importer of goods and use letter of credit, So with this particular buyer or seller, there is an arrangement that, look, oh, this year we are going to do shipment of 10 shipment of $1 million, and we're going to do $100,000 every tranche shipment. The same buyer, the same seller, the same unit price, the same port of loading, port of discharge, the same product, the same everything. But each time we'll be issuing a new LC. That is not efficient. Letter of credit is flexible enough to allow us to issue what is called revolving letter of credit. That means a letter of credit will be issued. That letter of credit, upon issuance, will be made to revolve. That means immediately the first shipment occurs, the letter of credit becomes available for the next shipment. Maybe another 6 months. As soon as the first shipment occurs and payment is made, it becomes available. Now, this making it available or revolving can be automatic. It can be non-automatic. But the fact is that in a revolving letter of credit, either automatic or non-automatic, we will not have to issue a fresh letter of credit for every shipment. We will not have to issue a fresh letter of credit for every shipment. That is the beauty of this kind of letter of credit. We won't have to issue a fresh letter of credit for every shipment. We will not have to issue a fresh letter of credit for every shipment. We will only issue a letter of credit once, and then it's revolving. It can revolve by time. It can revolve by shipment. The whole idea is, when I finish the first shipment, the second shipment kicks in. When I finish the second shipment, the third shipment kicks in. When I finish the third shipment, the fourth shipment kicks in. The fourth shipment, the fifth shipment kicks in. It just keeps revolving like that until the expiry. The bank can say, okay, for us to make it revolving, we'll send you a message. Just a simple message that the LC is now available for another shipment, and the new letter date of shipment is so and so, and the new expiry date is so and so. This revolving also can be cumulative or non-cumulative. This revolving can be cumulative or non-cumulative. Remember, I said, first of all, this revolving can be automatic or non-automatic. I've explained that already. If it's automatic, immediately I finish shipment, without any instruction, I do the next shipment. Automatically, next shipment. But in non-automatic, that means a bank will have to send a request to the shipper, the exporter, that this LC is now available for another shipment. Go ahead and do the next shipment. So the LC can be revolving, cumulative or non-cumulative. What does that mean? If I'm expected to ship $100,000 every month, $100,000 every month, I ship $100,000 month 1, month 2 I could not ship. In month 3 I can ship $200,000 to add the one of month 2 to month 3. If it is non-revolving, I will not be able to add it. If it is non-revolving, I will not be able to add it. If it is revolving, I can easily add it. That means after I've done the first shipment, I can do the next shipment, and anyone I miss can be added to the subsequent one. Anyone I miss can be added to the subsequent one. It's called the revolving. Revolving automatically, revolving automatically. In this case, revolving cumulatively or non-cumulative revolving LC. I'm basically explaining the fact that there are different nature and type of LC, and each of these type of letter of credit have unique characteristics. Each of letter of credit has characteristics, and letter of credit is so flexible. It's so flexible that it makes room for everybody to be able to do what they want. To be able to do what they want. You know why? It makes it easier for you to be, and like I said, a good understanding of this option makes it easier for you to have a dynamic transaction, to be able to ensure also you have reduced the chance of losses or chance of issues with your transaction. It's just lovely when you have a good understanding. So at the end of the day, it becomes easier for you to take full advantage. that you have access to. I mean full advantage of all the benefit that letter of credit offers you. The fact that now you can now have a revolving letter of credit that's cumulative. But let me say you something about cumulative. When an LC is revolving and cumulative is allowed, then you will not be able to do something called installment shipment. Let me explain. So in letter of credit, there is something called installment shipment. There is something called partial shipment. Partial shipment means I give you an LC of $1 million and allow shipment of 100. Shipment, if it's partial, that means I can ship anyhow within that period. I can ship 100 today, 200,000 tomorrow, 300,000 next tomorrow, 500,000 tomorrow, 200,000. I can ship as long as I ship within the LC period. But if it is, that's if it is partial. But if it says it is installment shipment, in an installment shipment letter of credit, in an installment shipment letter of credit, you will be given the time you must ship each partials. In partial shipment, I will decide when I want to ship each partials, as long as I ship everything before the end. But in installment, if it's 100 metric, if it's $100,000, I'm supposed to ship 100 tons every month. So they'll say 100 tons January, 100 tons February, 100 tons March, 100 tons April, 100 tons May. If I have that kind of arrangement, that they gave me the duration within which I must do a shipment, that is an installment drawing now. And that is very important. Because it's an installment drawing, if I fail to ship one installment, that installment I fail to ship and the subsequent one will be cancelled. That installment, and that is the rule number 32 of UCP. It says if you are supposed to ship an installment and a particular installment is not shipped, that unshipped installment with all the subsequent installments are cancelled. That unshipped installment with the subsequent installment are cancelled. And that is so critical. That's so important. That unshipped installment and the subsequent one are cancelled. So that means if my LC allow partial shipment, but they gave me instruction on how to do the partial shipment, I must abide by that instruction. If I fail to abide by that instruction, then I might lose that transaction. I might lose that transaction. Let me now talk again about partial shipment and revolving credit. Look at this. If I need to do a transaction of $1 million, and what I have is $100,000. Partial shipment will make me to raise that $1 million for me to do a transaction. Revolving credit will make me to have just my $100,000, and I will do that transaction. Is that not interesting? That's interesting. And that's one of the very important value of revolving letter of credit, such that I will be able to do huge transaction, and I will at the point I'm starting, I have 100. Because it's revolving, when they finish doing that shipment, by the time they are doing that shipment, I will have raised the next 100 to pay for them to make the LC available for the next shipment. But if I'm doing partial, and I won't have to start the LC all over again, but if I'm doing partial, I will need to have all the money available ab initio for me to even start that transaction in the first place. For me to even start that transaction quickly. I'm just trying to demonstrate to you some of the benefit and value that you can derive from ensuring that you are dealing with revolving letter of credit. I'll be rounding up the type of letter of credit tomorrow. I'll be closing now. Remember this import-export platform, Facebook Live from 3 Academy. And my name remains Dela Imi. But please remember the 5 things we always appreciate that you do for us on this show. This video is going on YouTube. You can always visit 3 Impers TV on YouTube, and you will be able to access our YouTube video. So you can have access to this video afterwards. Number 1. Number 2, as you visit our YouTube channel, please, number 1, remember to subscribe to the channel. Number 2, kindly help us share the video. Number 3, drop your comments. Number 4, like the video. And number 5, click the notification bell so you will know when we upload a new video. Thank you very much for listening. See you tomorrow morning and have a great weekend. Bye for now.